Hi, this is Tim. Today I'm going to introduce you to this Yamaha SCARA robot. This has been a really popular request that we do lessons on how to integrate robots with PLCs. And I was going to have this doing something really cool here at the beginning of this video, but I thought that might take away from what I see as the key advantage of this Yamaha robot, and that's how intuitive it really is to program. I put out some requests to some robot manufacturers about how I could do some videos for you on this. And most of them, if they responded, were like, yeah, come to our robot school and we'll see what we can do. But Chris Elston, who works at Yamaha, responded and said, hey, Tim, you know enough that you can probably pick this up in a few hours. And I'm like, whoa, I can pick up robot programming in a few hours? Well, he was right. Really, I've got about 2 hours of experience with this, and I feel confident enough now to do a video showing how it works. Now we're going to go into this a little bit backwards because I'm a PLC programmer and most of you are PLC programmers. And coincidentally, Chris is a PLC programmer, so he has made some really good innovations to this for PLC programmers. So we're not even going to look at RCX Studio, which is the software for this robot in this video. We are going to look at it in a later lesson. But in this one, I want to show you how simple this is to set up in Studio 5000 using some of the AOIs that Yamaha has developed. For this video, we're going to be using the Yamaha YK500 XGL and the RCX 340 controller. The controller is a little bit hidden behind the SCARA, but we'll get some close-ups in a later lesson. Then we're going to be integrating it with an Allen Bradley Compactlogix PLC, but you can do the same with a Controllogix PLC. And what I really love about this is, as far as integrating the two, it is all over Ethernet. So we're going to start with a new program in Studio 5000. And we're going to be using a 1769 L16ER BB1B, and I'm just going to call this the Yamaha AOI. And I have 0 expansion modules on this one, and we'll hit finish. Then let's go to yrginc.com, and then about midway down on the right, you're going to see software. Click it. And initially your screen's going to look like this, and you're going to need to join in order to get access to their software. Now there is no cost to join, so just click the join button, fill out a little bit of information, they'll send you a login, and after you have that, it's going to give you access to their software. And then if we scroll down just a little bit, we're going to see some AOI options. So we have Allen Bradley YRG Yamaha single AOI for the TS series controller, and we're going to do some videos on this. And then the next one we have is Allen Bradley YRG Yamaha AOI's library for the RCX 3 series controller. And this is what we're going to use here. So we're going to download this. And once you get it downloaded, go ahead and extract it. And then let's look inside because there's several things we're going to use in here. First, we're going to open up the Yamaha RCX 340 AOI library version 4.0. And if we just scroll down a few pages, we're going to get to our table of contents. And we are going to be looking at starting a new project in RSLogix 5000 on page 14. And this is going to take you through everything you need to know, actually from starting creating a program all the way through. And mainly we're going to start right here. We're going to create a new Ethernet connection. So in Studio 5000, we're going to right click our Ethernet and new module. And then right up here in the search bars, the way I usually do it is I'm just going to type generic because we are going to be using a generic Ethernet module. So right there, we have generic Ethernet module. Let's create that. Then I'm going to call this our robots. And if we pop back over, then we're going to see that our communication format is integer. And here, these assembly instances and sizes, this is what's important that we put in. So our input instance assembly is going to be 100 with a size of 24. Our output is going to be 150 with a size of 24. And our configuration is going to be 1 with a size of 0. Now your IP address may be different than what's in the sample. In fact, mine is 192.168.1.201. So our communication format is integer, And then our input assembly is 100 with a size of 24. Our output assembly is 150 with a size of 24. And our configuration is 1 with a size of 0. And then our IP address is 192.168.1.201. Now this is something that you can't edit later, so we need to make sure we get it right. So I'm going to double check here. I got a data formatted integer, IP address is correct, 151.24.24.0. I'll pop back over here, and yeah, that's exactly the same. And our default RPI at 10 milliseconds should be fine. And I'm going to download this program just like this. And if you need any help downloading your program or configuring your drivers, look down in the description. We have lessons on all of that. And the first thing we want to double check after that is this IO OK. Because if you have anything flashing here, then we've got a problem with the configuration we just did. But we look good. And now we can open up our controller tags. And in addition to our default local 1 that we would have on the Compactlogix, we now have robot C, I, and O. And we can open these up and you're going to see that we have 24 inside of them. But we really don't know what these are. Well, if we go back to the AOI sample package that we downloaded, right here we have Yamaha 3 Series Allen Bradley EIP tag import CSV. Let's open that up. And then we see we have this name column. And this right here is an export of descriptions that they've done that tells what everything is. Now in the case of theirs, they named it Robot 1 right here. Now if we go back to my Studio 5000, we see that I named mine just Robot. But we can fix that really easy. I'm going to hit Control F and I'm going to type Robot 1 and I'm going to replace it with Robot. And we're going to replace all of those and close. And now I'm just going to file, save as, and I'm just going to call this my robot tags to import. Now we're going to go back into Studio 5000 and let's go offline. In fact, let me just show you that you can't do this while you're online. If we go to Tools, Import, we're going to be looking for this tag and logic comments, and it's grayed out while you're online. So we're going to go back offline, and then we're going to go to Tools, Import, Tags and Logic Comments, and then I'm going to type that in, Robot Tags to Import, and we're going to import that. And bam, you saw it right there. Right away, we started getting documentation into here, which is just the first of many steps that they have done to make this insanely intuitive. And the main one we're going to look at is this robot:0.data.16. And in here, we really only need to look at 3 bits. We have bit 0, which is the emergency stop bit. And then we have bit 1, that is the servo on. And then we have bit 14, which is our alarm reset. So first, I'm going to put a 1 in the e-stop here. And then I'm going to go down here and I'm going to reset our faults. And then I'm going to turn that back off and I'm going to go up here and turn the servo. And now listen, when I do this, I'm going to hit enter. And the moment that I do that, here's the enter. And you hear the servo kick on. So with very little work, we've got this thing ready to go. But all right, we haven't made it actually move yet. So let's talk about how we can do that. In Studio 5000, let's open up our assets. And then right here, we have add-on instructions. Let's right-click it and then import add-on instruction. Then navigate to where you extracted those sample files and go in and find the RCX 3 series EIP exported AOIs 40. And then inside of that, we're going to find 2 of those instructions. We're going to be looking for the YAM3 move P. That's this one right here. And all the defaults will be just fine. And then let's do it again. Let's right click the add-on instructions, import. And this time we're going to be looking for the YAM3 teach point. That's the one right here. And again, the defaults will be just fine. Now all we have to do is write some code and ladder logic to get this robot going. Also, yes, I did have a wardrobe change. I had to start a training class. Let's open up our main routine, which is in our main program. And the first thing I'm going to do is make those bits that we were using easily accessible so I don't have to switch back over to the controller tag tab. So I'm going to bring down an examine on and then an output energize. And then we'll go in and find our robot:0.data, and we'll go down and find 16, and then I want bit 0. Then I'm going to put the exact same tag in our output energize. So really, if this is a 1, it's going to go right a 1. If this is a 0, it's going to go right a 0. And mainly what I'm going to use this for is that way I'm going to be able to right click and just toggle these bits right from here. That way I just don't have to flip back and forth. So I'm going to copy and paste this 3 times. And our next one is going to be bit 1. And then we're going to do bit 14. And then while we didn't need it to enable the servo, we're also going to need bit 6 to be able to move to a point. Let's put that in there, make sure we understand exactly what this does. So the same as I was putting 1s and 0s in over here to enable and disable our servo, now I can right click or select Control T and I can toggle this emergency stop bit. And then I'm going to reset my alarm by toggling that bit. Turn it back off. And now I can select the toggle bit here. And the moment that I do, you hear the servo kick in. So this is doing the exact same thing. For now, I'm just going to turn that back off. And now we're going to add our add-on instructions. So let's bring down another rung, and I'm going to bring down an examine on, and we're going to examine on teach bit. Right click it, new, and it's going to be a Boolean data type. And then to the right of our favorites tab, we have an add-on tab here. And we have 2 instructions in it. We have our move instruction and we have our teach instruction. I'm going to bring down the teach instruction. And the first thing we need to do is get a tag associated with it. So I'm going to call this our teach instruction. And we'll right click it, new, and it's going to default to the correct data type. So all I got to do is hit create. Then we're going to need a serial number. I'm just going to type serial number. And we'll right click it, new, and it's going to default to the correct data type, which is string. And then we have select robot, because we could actually have multiple robots on this. In this case, we only have one, so I'm just going to enter the number 0. And we have a point number. And I'm going to type point number. We'll right click that, new, and it's going to be a double integer. Then the next one we have is we have map robot input. And we're going to select our tags that were created when we created the generic Ethernet module. So this is going to be robot:i.data. And this one is going to be robot:0.data. Now let's bring down another rung. And an examine on, which is on our favorites tab. And this one's going to be move bit. Create it. And then on our add-on tab, we're going to bring down that move AOI that we imported. And this one, we'll need to create a tag associated with it. So I'm going to put move instruction. We'll create it. And it's going to default to the correct data type. And we have serial number. We're going to use the same serial number. So you can either type it or we can just drag serial number from the previous one down here. We're going to still be using robot 0. And then we have a point number. We're going to use the exact same point number that we created in our teach instruction. And we have a speed. And let's just start at 50. Next we have map robot input, and for that we're going to go find the tags that were created when we created our Ethernet module. Let's find robot:(i.data). Same for the output. We'll go find robot:(o.data). And that's it. We are actually ready to put these in there. Now before we can actually use these, we're going to need to enter the serial number. And that's just an additional check it does, and we'll talk about it in a later lesson. But we're going to right-click serial number and go to monitor. And each robot has a unique serial number. So I'm going to just click the string dialog here. I'm going to paste our serial number in. And we'll go back here. And we're ready to teach some points. So I'm going to enter point number 1. Then I'm just going to move the robot because I have the servos disabled now, so I can move this anywhere. I'm going to move this roughly over that green button there. Then I'm going to right-click the teach bit. We're going to toggle it. Let's see, it's enabled and it's done. So I'm going to right-click and I'm going to toggle the bit again. And just to give us 2 points to go to, now let's drag it over the E stop here. And we're going to enter point 2. We'll toggle this. And it's enabled and done. And we'll toggle it again. And now we're ready to move this servo. Now I haven't enabled it yet, but I want to use this as an opportunity to talk about just how intuitive this is now I'm going to enter point number 1. Which we programmed to be roughly around this green button. But since I hadn't enabled our servos, it's not going to go anywhere. But I'm going to go ahead and right-click and toggle bit. And all right, it's enabled and we see that we have an error here. And we have an alarm group that says 2C and we have an alarm number that says 258. If we go back to the package that we downloaded here, then we're going to see that we have a Yamaha RCX3 series error code lookup XLS. I'm going to open it up. Then our error was 258 and the group was C. So I'm just going to go here, Control F, and we're going to look for 258. Enter. All right, so here's 258, but it says group 16. So I'm going to hit find again. All right, it says it's going all the way to the top. It's going to go around. All right, this one is 258, but it is not Group C still. All right, here we are. We have 258, and this is Group C. And it says emergency stop on. So insanely easily, I can figure out why this robot is not working. Also, probably in a later video, we're going to add an HMI to this, and we're going to make some lookup tables just to show how we can make it where we're not sitting there asking, well, when's the robot tech going to be here? Something's wrong with the robot again. So they have just done an excellent job of making this very easy to troubleshoot. So now I'm going to toggle this back off. And then I'm going to right click. I'm going to toggle on our E-stop bit. I'm going to reset this. We'll toggle it back off. And then I'm going to bring the servo on. We hear it click on. Now I haven't hit this stop bit just so we can again see just how easy this was and why really in 2 hours you can know how to program this. As I'm going to right click and I'm going to toggle this again. Again, it's going to enable. We're going to get an error. This time it says group C and our alarm number is 190. So I'm going to pop back over here and this time I'm going to search for 190 and we know we're looking in group C. Okay, this is 190 in group E. That's 190 in group E. And there's another 190, but it's still not group C. Got another 190. Probably should have started at the top. That would have been a lot easier. But okay, there we go. We're coming back around. 190 with a 9, and finally here we are, 190 Group C, standard stop on. So that told me right away that we needed to go up here and we need to toggle our stop bit. So I'm going to right click, toggle this bit, and then we're going to toggle off our move. And this time I'm going to right click, toggle bit, and when I do, it's going to move back to the green button position. Now we can switch to point number 2. And first I'll toggle this back off, and we're going to toggle it again. And it's going to come over to our second point where we positioned it over top of the E-stop. So with some real basic knowledge of ladder logic programming and a couple of custom AOIs, we've managed to configure this robot to move from point to point. I just can't stress how intuitive this Yamaha robot is. So with some basic ladder logic knowledge and some well-written AOIs from Yamaha, we've managed to get this robot moving in really less than 2 hours. So I've taken our basic PLC trainer and cut the legs off of it so it'll lay horizontally as opposed to vertically, and I have wired it to the Compactlogix per our Getting Started guide. The first thing you do to make sure you have your wiring correct, you press the green button and the green light should come on. You press the yellow button and the yellow light should come on. You press the red button and the red light should come on. You press the blue button and the blue light should come on. And then you switch 1 and it should run through a basic sequence of those 4 lights. And if you've got all that correct, then you did your wiring exercise correctly. So in the next video, I'm going to see if I can program this Yamaha SCARA to do those steps. I 3D printed these button pressers, so it should be able to press the buttons, and it should be able to also select the selector switches. And then eventually, I'll probably have a tool park location that it can come over here and maybe grab different tools. And really, I haven't figured out how yet, but I would like to be able to tell it to grab the potentiometer at the position it's at and adjust it to somewhere else. I don't know, just so I can start learning about how to program this. So this series here, I truly am learning this with you as I go, which is way out of my comfort zone. But again, I can't stress just how easy they have made this. So I hope this video has helped to introduce you to the Yamaha SCARA. I'll put a link in the description where you can learn more about it and a link to this whole lesson series. Till next time.
Hi, this is Tim.
And this is Amber of TW Controls. We run the automation store. Hey, thanks for finding our channel.
Here's a playlist with some similar videos.
And YouTube thinks you'll like this video.
Please like our video and subscribe to our channel.
And if our videos have helped you make some money and you're not using our products, please consider supporting us on Patreon.
Till next time.
See ya!